Okay, so I can start?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jacques Gripekoven, and I'm managing a company called ALLOcloud, which Fabien mentioned on the first day in the keynote session as one of the companies that Odoo is integrated with when it comes to telephony. Telephony is, any company that is using Odoo, and I guess there must be Odoo end users here as well as Odoo partners. That's usually the mix that I see in these presentations. Any company that is using Odoo has interaction with their customers and prospects through email, through chat, but also through telephony. Telephony is an important channel to communicate with prospects and customers. And that's the reason of the subject of my talk. One of the key trends that we see, globally speaking, in the IT world is the trend towards the cloud. Clearly, there was a lot of Odoo on-premise installation. It's now moving more and more into the cloud. And that is exactly the same when it comes to telephony. There used to be a lot of Siemens, Cisco, Avaya deployments that were on-premise. And these days, everything is going into the cloud. And actually, these companies, traditional companies, have issues. Avaya, for example, they were Chapter 11 a few months ago, so they are really in trouble. So the companies that have not made the move to cloud are pretty much in trouble. Now, when it comes to telephony, telephony is probably new for, or out of several people's scope. Basically, this is traditional telephony where you have PBXs, ISDN lines, or analog lines, depending on the country, and traditional phones. Now, when you look, and that is what 90+% of companies still have these days, especially in the SMB business. When you look at that kind of solution over the last 30 years or something, it has not changed. Companies are still using the same technology 35 years ago from now. If you look at mobile telephony, it has incredibly changed. So what we decided to do 5 years ago at ALLOcloud was to try to revolutionize a little bit the telephony world. And basically what we do is and people get to, there's no telephone line anymore. All calls go through the internet. And for those who are in Europe, for example, an ISDN line, that is something that costs on an annual basis, that costs around €500. So it's not negligible. All these telephone subscriptions, that cost a lot of money. So whenever you can get rid of these and install IP phones, etc., that is substantial economies that companies can do. Now, not only can you work on one side, but you can also work on multiple sites, being remote offices, home working, people working in a hotel, etc. By nature, cloud telephony supports that kind of architecture very easily, because whenever you have an internet connection, you are connected to your IP telephony service. So by nature, IP telephony or cloud telephony suits very well multi-site companies, chain of shops, etc. Now, the big advantages are that it is cheaper, more flexible everywhere, etc. I don't need to explain that too much. But there is something that we thought could be interesting, and that is Odoo. Our approach as ALLOcloud is to try to find or to develop partnerships with software vendors to add value by integrating our solution with someone else's solution. So we've done that with several players in the insurance sector, in the medical sector, and we have also done it together with Odoo. And really the goal is to add value when you combine the Odoo solution with our solution to come with something that adds value to the end user. Now, cloud telephony, a lot of people think that it's very complicated. They hear about SIP protocol, they hear about codecs, they hear about a lot of things. And in fact, it's very simple. And I'll show you a couple of screens on our platform. But if you can click with a mouse, if you can connect an RJ45 cable, and if you can scan a QR code with your smartphone, that's enough. You don't need to know much more than that. So that's one of the advantages, is that you don't need to be a telephony expert anymore to install telephony. Let me show you a couple of screens, and best is to go straight to our platform. So I'm now on our cloud platform, like you go to Odoo. And the way it works is that it's very simple. When you implement telephony in a company, you just need to add users. So adding a user is just first name, last name, email address. It's very simple. Then you add devices. And adding a device is incredibly simple. You just take the MAC address of a phone, enter it, and it automatically configures. There is no need to do anything special. And if you go, for example, you add a device like a smartphone. Let me take, I think this is a smartphone. It actually generates, tick, tick, tick. I think I need to save. But what it does is that if I create a smartphone, it generates a QR code. Android stable. When I save it, it generates a QR code. And the only thing you have to do is to install the software on your smartphone, scan the QR codes, and it gets completely configured. So it's extremely simple to create users and devices. And then the last point is, okay, now I want to manage the way my telephony should work. And here it's again extremely simple, because what we've done is that the way you do is you say, okay, if I'm called on this number, which is the main number of my company, I want it, for example, to go to a user, and it's all drag and drop. So you go to Jacques, and if Jacques does not answer, I want it to go to voicemail, etc. This is very simple, and I don't want to show you further, but you can create, for example, menus. Press 1 for sales, press 2 for technical. You basically draw your flows on how telephony should work. So very, very simple. Now, what is interesting in this solution here is that we have integrated it with Odoo, and that's the main purpose of this pitch. So we have a platform which is full of APIs, so it can be integrated with Odoo, but it can be integrated with anything else. We have customers who have integrated it with access control systems, with other applications. The API allows to integrate it with many, many things. And that is something that you will not find very often in cloud telephony solutions. Usually it's a kind of a one-size-fits-all service where you take what it does, but you can't do any customization. With our API, you can customize our solution and integrate it very easily. So what we did is, or what Odoo did, is to put in Odoo what they call, or what we call, a soft phone. So it's a software telephone that sits directly into the Odoo web page. And Fabien showed it on the first day. He showed this little, on the screen there was a little phone here appearing on the Odoo screen. And you can very simply place calls, receive calls straight in Odoo. So there is a native soft phone in Odoo. It uses WebRTC, which is a new technique which is momentarily supported by Firefox and Chrome, but will be supported by Safari and Edge in the coming month. So it will be a universal standard. Advantage, there is nothing to install, so you don't even need to install an app or whatever. It is native into Odoo. So in terms of features, and I'm talking about Odoo 10. Odoo 10 was the first release of software that we integrated with, and we have implemented several features. Like the first one is that your Odoo web page is your phone. Odoo, by the way, is a customer of our system. They use our system, and I know that the whole sales team at Odoo, whenever they place calls to, whenever someone asks for a demo through the website, they contact the person, and they place the call straight from the lead that was automatically created in Odoo. They place the call, they call the person. During the call, they can put comment in the prospect form, etc. So they use it intensively now. You can, of course, in the Odoo page, click to call someone. You can also create calling campaigns, so you can select multiple contacts and say, okay, well, this morning I want my agents in a call center or my sales team to call 50 people, and that will be fully automated. And these people will have the opportunity to add comments straight into Odoo during the call. When a call comes in, there is naturally, if the person is recognized in Odoo, there will be a notification on the screen, a little pop-up on the screen, and if the person is recognized, all the details about that customer will appear, and therefore people can add comments in real time. All the calls are listed in the activities, the same way when you send an email from Odoo to a contact, you can see that you sent an email on that date, etc. Calls will be also logged into Odoo. There is another thing that we did, is that we have in our platform the possibility to use calendars. So for example, and you could integrate our platform with the Odoo calendar. So for example, let's say that you have your telephone number where your customers can call you. You can put a little box called calendar, and when the call comes in, it will ask the Odoo calendar, is the person, is he present, is he in a meeting, is he on vacation, and the call flow will adapt automatically, dynamically. The call will go to a group, the call will go to voicemail, etc. So telephony becomes intelligent thanks to the integration with the calendar. Of course, when you get a fax, well, fax are not that fancy anymore these days, but still that exists. We convert faxes into PDF, and we send them via email straight into Odoo. Same thing for voicemail. If someone leaves you a voicemail, it will be converted into a WAV file and sent via email straight into Odoo. So this was the first step. That was already interesting, but there were still features that were really missing. So to me, Odoo 10 and the integration that we did in Odoo 10 was a kind of a pre-prod. It's not production ready. There were some very important missing features in a real utilization. Let me give you an example. You get an incoming call, you get a notification on your Odoo web page that says incoming call from Mr. Smith, but there is no ringtone. Your telephone doesn't make any noise. So if you're not watching your PC, you have no idea that there is a call coming in. So that's the kind of thing that was missing in Odoo 10. And what we did in Odoo 11, so Odoo 11 and our platform are really the right combination. Now you have, it is production ready. We have added a better call notification, so now you can hear ringtones and all these things. There is also the possibility to use a real phone, so you can use Odoo, but a lot of people, they still have an IP phone, and they want to be able to do a click-to-call in Odoo, but still take the call on the IP phone or on a mobile phone or whatever. So that has been added into the new release, possibility to use real phone and also, of course, smartphones, etc. Any phone, in fact. We are working also on other possible integrations, but there is absolutely no date for the moment. First of all, video support, fax out, and also this one, personally, I find it quite interesting, is the possibility to record phone calls. So that is something you can already do with our platform today, but recordings are stored on our platform. In the future, recordings will be pushed through the API to the Odoo platform, so that when you list the activities that you had with the customer, there is a little player, and you can listen again to the phone call, for example. Of course, you have to respect the legal aspects of recording phone calls. So very often you can hear things like, for quality purposes, this phone call may be recorded. That's the kind of thing that is being said when this is done. Now, in terms of availability, personally, I really think that you have to wait until Odoo 11 is there. Well, we have some customers that are already using ALLOcloud in Odoo 10. but the integration is a little bit poor. But they took the decision to go to ALLOcloud because they know that in Odoo 11 they will get all the power of the integration. Currently, we are a carrier in Belgium, France, Germany, Netherlands, and Switzerland. By the end of the year, we will add the following countries. You know, the telecom business is a quite regulated business, so you cannot decide to be a carrier in Ethiopia or whatever like that. You have to follow some rules. You have to have a license as a carrier. You have to make sure that if someone calls 112 in Europe or 911 in the US, that it goes to the right emergency services, that it passes the right information so that the ambulance or the police goes to the right address. So we cannot mess around with telecom the same way we can mess around with cloud applications. Telecoms are quite regulated. So these are the countries that we support or will support. Basically, it's most of European countries. Now, we had several requests from people in North Africa yesterday. In Turkey, I had a very interesting discussion with someone from Turkey. And what they said is that, well, we can provide you with the telecom connectivity in our country, like Turkey. If we can do that, could we connect that to your platform and use the Odoo integration? And the answer is yes. So if there is a business case in a country where one of the Odoo partners says, okay, I will take care of the telecom part of things and bring telecom into your platform, that is something that we are very open to discuss. There must be some business case, of course. Now, in terms of benefits, what's in it for end users? Well, first of all, you get a new generation of telephony system, professional, etc. In terms of lowering the cost, it's really amazing. We won a very large project 2 months ago in Belgium, where we will be equipping all the schools in Belgium, or all the Catholic schools in Belgium. That's 700 schools. And even for small schools, the benefit they make in 1 year, for a small school with maybe 10 people, they gain like 7,000–8,000 euro per year. It's shocking when you compare to traditional telephony with ISDN lines, etc. So cloud telephony is a huge saving, brings huge savings in terms of costs. If you use Odoo as your phone, well, you have no hardware anymore, so that's pretty cool as well. And to me, that's the most important. That's productivity. And I had a discussion. We've done something similar in the insurance business, where we have integrated with a very popular insurance package. And one of the customers was telling me, when they get a call, usually it's Mrs. Jones or whatever that calls in, and they pick up the phone. They say, oh, Mrs. Jones, oh, that's you. And then, oh, I'll transfer you to Jessica, who takes care of your case. So the person has to transfer the call, etc. And just by using our system and previewing that it is Mrs. Jones that is actually calling, so that Jessica can immediately pick the phone without having to transfer the call internally, etc. This insurance broker told me that they were saving between 5 and 10% of the time of the people who take the calls in their company. So at the end of the day, if you think that a solution like that with integration can save 10% of the salary cost that a company has, I think it's just amazing. It's a lot of money that can be saved through integration, so that the power of integration is quite interesting. Now, if you are an Odoo partner, and I guess there must be Odoo partners here as well, that kind of solution can bring you, of course, more added value to your end user, additional recurring revenue. It's the same model. I mean, we invoice per month per user, the same way Odoo works. And we have different type of partnerships. Some partners, they don't want to touch telephony, so they become referral partners. So they send customers to us, and we take care of that with another partner. Or we have partners that resell our solution. That's what most people do. And we have also a last partnership mode, which is that some of our partners, they rebrand completely our platform to put their name on it. In Belgium, for example, we have 7 white label partners, including very large partners. I can't give names because it's under NDA, but there is a huge player in Belgium that is actually using our platform. And that's it. So I guess I'm pretty much on time. Thank you very much. Yes?
If the customer has their own phone system already there, you know, they've had it there, there's no plans to change it, but you want to integrate it with Odoo because it's handy.
Mm-hmm.
Can you do that so you can sort of have 2 systems going?
Well, so the question is if the person has already a telephone system, VoIP or?
VoIP, maybe,
yeah.
whatever it is, they've spent a lot of money to get it.
Yeah.
But they would like to integrate it with Odoo for the CRM side of things.
Well, the straight answer, the easy answer would be no. But actually there is a way to still to do it. And that is a concept that we are introducing right now, and we call it the smart SIP trunk. So a SIP trunk, when I showed you the SIP trunk is what connects us to the PSTN, to the telephony network. Now let's suppose that the company has a PBX on site. Actually, through our platform, we can provide a SIP trunk into that PBX that adds value, like integration. So it's not a straight SIP trunk that just brings minutes of telephony, but we can pre-process at this level calls and generate through web services, WebSockets, web services, etc. We can integrate with Odoo. Now, it's only for relatively large accounts, people who have just purchased an IP PBX or that kind of thing. But the answer is yes, we can do it as well.
So if you've got, I mean, I was just using, you know, the new Odoo, the new Odoo, API for services.
Mm-hmm.
When someone clicks on, you know, make a VoIP call, well, you don't know what telephone system they've got, do you?
Yeah, but that would work.
But aren't you then having to bypass their own personal, or the phone system they use in their business?
No, actually not. We've already done that with IP PBXs from Siemens. And in fact, the way it works is that you do the click to call within Odoo. So you click in Odoo, it launches a call on our platform, and will transfer the call to the existing Siemens or Avaya phone. So the person clicks, his Avaya phone will ring, and then as he picks up the phone, it will launch the call through our service. So that works.
So that's what I was just talking about. I mean, you can completely bypass the customer's phone system.
Oh, well, usually that's what we do. Usually we completely bypass it, and customers use our system. But if a customer has invested into a brand new Avaya or Cisco solution, we can still do integration with what we call smart SIP trunk.
So the other question is, you haven't got any services in Australia.
No. But if you bring me SIP trunks, I'll do it for you.
Sure. What do you mean when you said if we can bring you the telephone the telephone service? What does that mean?
What it means is that in a country like Australia, for example, I'm pretty sure that there are SIP trunks providers, people that we don't know of. We don't have a relationship with these people, but we could, if you come to us with that kind of partner, then we could connect these people to our platform, and that would become a fully fledged, we would become fully equipped to cover Australia. The only thing that we would still have to do is to put some servers in Australia to avoid latency.
So you have to have the requisite number of connections to make it worthwhile.
But that's what a SIP provider would do. They would provide SIP trunks. They could do number portation and all these things. So yeah, that's a very classical model. That's what we have been doing in Belgium, France, in all the countries where we are represented, or where we are carriers. But in a country like Australia, that is absolutely feasible. And as I said, the only thing that we would have to do is to put some of our cloud servers in Australia because Australia is really on the other side of the world, so there would be too much latency. But our architecture is fully distributed, so we can put servers in the US, in Asia, in Australia. If we get a few VMs, VMware, and that's it. So that would be very easily. Now, of course, there needs to be a business case. Yeah, but yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Do you have a prepaid model as well?
Well, we work mainly in the B2B space, and at least in the countries that we cover, it's postpaid, because companies don't like to prepay.
Yeah, but okay, but for the small companies,
Mm-hmm.
if they don't have volume
Mm-hmm.
to either make outgoing or incoming calls, then they may not want to pay monthly fees, and they will buy a certain credit and then use it 3 months, 6 months.
Well, our platform allows to do it. We have not activated that so far. We only do postpaid because usually, at least in Europe, companies don't like prepay models. They want to pay afterwards. I'm talking about the minutes, huh? The traffic. Now, some people, the fear that people have with postpaid models is that the customer does not pay. That's the reason prepay exists.
Charge per minute?
Well, the telephony, yes. If
Well, a lot of now telecom providers are just flat fee. You just pay more.
oh well, we can. Yeah, we also have packs. Of course, yeah. Oh, is that what you call prepaid, like a pack?
No, but well, you can charge per call
Mm-hmm.
and not the minutes after. But when you say you charge per minutes, then
Well,
I guess.
no, it really depends. I mean, we also have packs, unlimited 1,000 minutes pack. I mean, it's to be decided on a country per country basis because the way it works in France, for example, in France they love unlimited packs. In Belgium, people don't really like that too much. You know, all these packs, that's great, huh? That's great, but at the end of the day, who's the big winner with packs? Us. Because we sell, I mean, whenever we sell a pack to an end user, 99% of the time they don't use the pack. So you sell them something that they don't use. So it's huge margin for carriers like us. So I love packs, for sure.
You have expired it.
Yeah. So we love packs. Now, when it comes to the concept of postpaid, I mean, invoicing. So you have a pack and people go further than the pack and you have to invoice them in postpaid or you could do prepaid or whatever. The good news about our business model is that if a customer does not pay, you just switch off their telephone line. And I can tell you they pay very quickly. So it's not a big problem. But yeah, packs, we do packs, of course.
What's the pricing?
Okay, well, that's a very good question. The price per user, the list price per user is €10 per month. You're right, I should maybe have put a slide. You need €10 per user and per month. Now, what is a user? A user is you, which means that if you have your Odoo soft phone, a hard phone, a smartphone, a tablet, or whatever, it's still one user. So we don't charge per device, we charge per user. We try to promote the fact that people use many devices, because it's the beauty of it, of course.
One user can have multiple incoming lines.
Yes?
You don't charge them separately?
No? We charge per number. You rent numbers.
One number can have how many lines?
Okay, that's also a good question. Here we don't have at all the concept, you know, in ISDN, an ISDN line can only have 2 simultaneous calls. Here, we don't have that anymore. So you can have, so on one number, you can have 2, 3, 4, 10 simultaneous calls. It really depends on the size of your internet connection. So you don't have at all this concept of number of channels or simultaneous calls.
You actually don't need any more numbers, just one number.
Well, it depends. I mean, some companies, they want to have one main number and then numbers for, direct numbers for all their employees. It really depends. There was another question there?
Yeah, the 10 euros. What does it include in the 10 euros? Anything? Or is that including the cost of the SIP and everything? Or
It includes everything but the traffic.
that's the traffic?
Yeah.
And if we want to talk about partnership, we can talk to you after?
Yes?
But we already said telephony.
Okay, cool. In which country?
Sweden.
Sweden, okay.
So we have Telebox and Volker,
Okay.
which are,
I don't know them.
you don't know them?
No.
They're quite bigger than Vox.
Okay.
They're Asterix and so.
Oh yeah, okay. Okay. Sorry.
When I'm using it on my smartphone, and I have a dial-out call, can I choose to use ALLOcloud or the normal GSM net, or how does it work?
Yes. Actually, what we are working on right now is a small app where you decide whether you are in business mode or in private mode. And if you're in business mode, if you're in private mode, that would place a GSM call, and you show your private GSM number. If you're in business mode, it would call through our platform, and you would show your business number, so that people cannot call you back on your GSM.
That means I cannot take my normal number with it, or can I move it?
Well, we are not a mobile operator, so we don't touch mobile phones. Yeah.
I confirm when you dial another common customer, IG, they receive the memory mobile, our mobile number.
Well, but if you switch to business mode,
Yes.
then they see your fixed number, your office number. Yeah. So you can really decide: am I private? Am I business?
So
And-
that's one number. Which is
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Do you have some predefined list of providers for trunks? In example, Deutsche Telekom for Germany, etc.
But in Germany, we are a carrier, so we don't we would not work.
For other countries?
But for other countries, no, because we are not present in these other countries. In fact, I have to be very honest with you. This Odoo partnership is pulling us into countries where we really did not have planned to be present. So no, really. So it's kind of fun. But clearly, and that's why we are not equipped to provide SIP trunks in Australia or that kind of country. But we are very open, because we understand it's a great opportunity to do something with you guys. Okay, well, many thanks. Thank you to you.